A 40-hour work week with the 9 to 5 p.m. schedule, as well as hitting retirement age in your 60s, are aspects of working life that we see as normal. We see people in our lives doing it, so we then develop the notion that this is what work life looks like. As I ponder about how we can reorientate work in a way that encompasses our holistic well-being, I got curious. How much of what we consider as quote-unquote normal work patterns were based on historical decisions? And are these norms necessarily what works best for us today, especially in all the different seasons of our lives? If we look back in history, the concept of retirement is relatively modern. Back in the 19th century, retirement wasn't really an option for most people. People worked until they no longer could. Today, the idea of retirement is something that older workers look forward to. So it's hard to imagine now, but many people back then resisted being asked to leave the workforce, declining to resign because it meant that they are deprived of working wages. So, if these older workers want to keep on working, why then did several countries introduce government-run financial support for these older members of society? The mentality then was that these older workers affected economic output. Most of the work that was being done at that time involved work done in factories as well as in farms. Employers then felt that older workers displayed signs of aging. They slow down the assembly lines, they require more sick days off, and they took up positions that younger and cheaper labor could fill. So, the idea of paying these older workers to leave the workforce voluntarily by paying them a pension took root. The turning point came when in 1889, Germany introduced social insurance. In the 1930s, United States followed suit with their Social Security. So retirement was not a concept that was rolled out to promote workers' well-being, but it was largely shaped by economic and social factors. What about the origins of the 40-hour work week with the 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. schedule? It became popular in the 20th century. During that time, labor movements were pushing for better working conditions. So this schedule was something that was arrived at as a compromise between employers and employees. But even this schedule is influenced by industrial needs and the desire for a streamlined work structure. This is not aimed at optimizing workers' personal productivity or their well-being. Factories and manufacturing facilities require workers to be working with the machines together on-site at the same time for greater productivity. The man who started it all was Henry Ford. In 1926, he introduced a 5-day work week with 8-hour days for his employees in his company. It was such a resounding success for the company that the structured work hours soon set a precedent and influenced labor laws and work norms. Fast forward to today, and we're still largely adhering to these historical norms. Just because something became a standard due to historical reasons doesn't mean it's the best or only way to work now. We're often so anxious about taking a career break because we worry about how it will affect our future job prospects. We feel trapped by these historical work patterns and fear deviating from them. We feel like we need to work continuously until we are in our 60s. We spend so much time worrying about the duration of our career breaks and whether we'll find a job afterwards. as if we're still bound by those outdated standards. The pandemic years ushered in so many changes. In fact, many companies and individuals are finding that flexible hours and remote work are much better suited to modern life and well-being. We're not in the industrial age anymore. Many companies like GitHub, Basecamp, and Dell allow their workers to work remotely from anywhere with flexible working hours. Even in the land famous for the karoshi, which is death by overwork, Microsoft Japan experimented with a 4-day work week and found that it enhanced workplace productivity. The concept of retirement and the 9-to-5 workdays were revolutionary solutions to labor problems in the past. The retirement age was introduced to support workers in their older age who can no longer continue in physically demanding jobs. The 9-to-5 workday was introduced to be able to standardize work hours and improve labor conditions at that time during the industrial era. Today, many of us take on a mental rather than a physical load. The work environment is so fast-paced, but we're still adhering to historical working conventions. The result? Widespread burnout and disengagement. Historical solutions cannot fully address the challenges that we're facing today. In fact, we don't have to wait for the government or the corporations to introduce new work practices or flexible schedules. We can take charge of our own well-being on our own terms. Deciding to take a career break is a proactive choice that empowers us to take charge of our own well-being. We can make the decisions ourselves to step back, recharge, and then realign our internal selves to the external demands of the job market. More than ever, we have access to a wealth of tools and resources that can empower us to retrain, reinvent, and reskill ourselves. We can remain competitive in the job market even after a career break. Online courses, certifications, and professional development programs offer flexible learning opportunities. They can fit our schedules and interests and align with current industry trends. We can effectively bridge any gap in our skills and confidently re-enter the workforce. Taking a career break becomes not just a pause, but a strategic move to enhance our career trajectory and adapt to the evolving job market. Will a career break wreck our finances? Nope, I don't think so. Today, we have an array of financial tools at our fingertips. This can significantly enhance our wealth creation efforts. With greater access to investment platforms, budgeting apps, and financial planning resources, we can actively manage and grow our finances more effectively than ever before. I still remember when I first bought my first stock, the brokerage I was on charged like $25 for one trade. Today, you have online brokerages that charge for the same transaction only a few dollars. And if you go further back, investors actually had to call their broker. And despite the greater access of financial tools, do we have time to take advantage of it? A career break provides an invaluable opportunity to focus on building new financial habits and strategies. It can be a transformative period for not only personal growth, but also for laying the groundwork for future financial success where work can become optional for you. Just as retirement and the 9-to-5 workdays were solutions to past labor problems, I deeply believe that a career break is today's vital solution rooted in personal empowerment. It allows us to maintain holistic health and create a more fulfilling, balanced work life. I have taken 3 career breaks, and I doubt I would have progressed as far in my career in the education industry had it not been for these breaks. Nor would I have been in this position now where I have spaciousness in my life and having a job is an option. I'll be so honored if I can share my stories with you. I hope it leads to more conversations about normalizing career breaks and how we can develop better relationships with ourselves and with work. Always rooting for you.